Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be really neat. I have with me Kenny Weiss. He's a coach for families, also businesses and athletes. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you actually do and specialize in.
Thanks, Carol. Well, I appreciate you having all of us here. What I do is a little bit different than most coaching. Most coaching out there is, whether it's all designed about succeeding in some area of your life, and usually it's focused on a process. Make 20 calls, see if you're in real estate, make these calls, knock on doors, that kind of thing. It's about a to-do list, right? And keeping you accountable to that. Well, that's not what I do. I don't touch any of that because let's face it, how many success books or success models are there out there like that? What's keeping you from following that formula? Every morning you wake up and a feeling comes up, you're like, I just don't want to do it. That's my expertise. That feeling that pops up that's keeping you from the success you want, whether that's in your business, your personal life, or your athletic life.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, I want to ask you some things. You said you have two offices. One is in Tempe. The other one is in Scottsdale. But you can help people valley-wide. Yep. How do you work with them?
Well, generally people will come to me because some part of their life isn't working. They're not achieving the success they want. And so if it's an athlete, whether it's meeting them out whatever sport they play or, having them in my office, we can do that. Couples that are struggling in a relationship, generally we'll do that in my office. And companies, I do like a sales team that's struggling. I do a lot of public speaking. So I'll come to companies and speak about certain topics or things that they're struggling with, or come into an environment and address whatever issues are showing up.
Now, you say that you do free consultations,
yes.
And usually how long are they?
Up to about an hour.
Okay.
Within 30 to 40 minutes, we pretty much have it fleshed out what's going on.
Right, because you got to find out a little bit about them and what is going on.
Sure.
Your website is Coach Kenny Weiss, and that's spelled WEISS.com, and the phone number to call is 480-729-3270. Okay, so I didn't know this, that you were a professional athlete
yes.
in two different sports. First of all, I want to know what they were and how you then decided then out of that to become a success coach, especially because we don't always think of them for athletes, but they sure are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I played both pro hockey and pro golf, and part of what got me into this is I realized I never wanted to play either one. I was playing both of them because of things I went through when I was younger. And so they were coping skills to try and get through it. And it was, honestly, most people, what we don't realize is every single career, every single relationship, hobby we all have, we're trying to deal with an emotion that we've never been taught how to deal with. And that's literally what I was doing with both those sports. Now, it gave me an insight when I work with athletes, obvious. I've been in the moment. I know what it's like. I know what's going on emotionally and also what you're saying to yourself. So that's what gives me such an insight with an athlete.
Sure. So what are some of the things that you've been able to help people with?
Trauma. People who, whether it's, some sort of abuse or something that's happened in their life, addiction issues. I've suffered through multiple addictions. My life was a complete train wreck. That's what makes me so good at what I do, is I've lived it and overcome it. So that's a big piece of it. Fear of success. People would say they're afraid of failing, but I've never met anyone who is, because if your life isn't where you want it to be, you're failing each and every day. What you're afraid of is success, because that feeling that comes up over having to make that one new choice, that's what's keeping you from succeeding. And that's really what people are afraid of, that more than failure. And so that's really one of the biggest areas I get brought in for.
Well, I'll tell you something, whether it's somewhere in your family, with your families, it could be all the family members, business, or if you're an athlete out there, a lot of us are dealing with issues, and if you're listening to this, maybe you don't think it's for you, but maybe you know somebody who might need it. I like to say that because that's what this show is all about, networking. And so he does do free consultations. He has two locations. One is in Tempe, the other one is in Scottsdale, but he can work with people valley-wide. The phone number to call him is 480-729-3270. The website is Coach Kenny Weiss, which is WEISS.com. All right, so what is the typical process that your clients will go through? So when they call you, kind of what it is, obviously you have to find out, but then what?
Well, the first part is fleshing out what's the block, what's coming up that's keeping them from what they want. Most people, because let's face it, what are we taught about feelings? Don't have them, don't talk about them, don't deal with them. Yet literally every single choice you ever make in your life, every single one starts with a feeling. Every thought is a byproduct of what you feel. the single greatest tool we need to succeed, none of us have been taught. And so that's the first process. It's an education of realizing that most people don't even know that their thoughts are a byproduct of what they're feeling. So there's an education process, an evaluation of, okay, this is what's happening. This is then the process of educating you on how that's showing up in your life, and then giving you the tools to now be able to, I'll say this in a speech. If you don't speak Russian, you're expected to speak it. How could you?
Right.
And it's the same thing with this. So then I provide you with the tools to start addressing whatever it is that's keeping you from what you want.
What I like about you, first of all, I think that you're a no baloney kind of guy. You go right down to that's what it sounds like to me. Also, that you obviously have been through it.
Sure.
That you're walking in their steps, and you've been in their steps, and you've changed. And I give you kudos for that.
Thank you.
But I love that about you, because at least you can relate to them, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that. So that's neat. Again, he does do free consultations. He has two locations. One is in Tempe. The other was in Scottsdale. You can call him direct. His phone number is 480-729-3270, and that website is Coach Kenny Weiss, WEISS.com. So the one thing that people want to know, they all want to know, how long is it going to take for me to change and get out of this?
Well, I'll be a snake oil salesman and tell you it's 30 minutes. It never works that way. It never. This is a process. It's, you can probably figure 3 to 12 months. I mean, let's face it. If you've been struggling with a certain addiction or your business for 5-7 years, you're in a rut. Do you think in 1, 2, 3 sessions, 3 hours? I mean, how many years have you spent here behind this microphone to be as good as you are at that? A lawyer, whatever it is. And yet we think we'll turn our lives around just by talking to someone for an hour. It's a process, especially because none of us, I never took a class on emotions or feelings. I didn't even know that. I woke up at 10, 12 years old and found my mom passed out naked on a toilet, because nobody taught my parents and nobody taught me how to deal with that. Because of that, I went and became a sex addict, a love addict, a spending addict, a sugar addict, a tobacco addict, alcoholic. I had 2 horrific divorces, a child custody battle, bankruptcy. I played 2 pro sports I never wanted to play, and I contemplated suicide. And that's life for everybody, because nobody teaches us that every choice we ever make is based on a feeling. We don't have that skill. So it's going to take a little bit of time to give you those skills. But in general, my clients will see an immediate improvement within 1 to 3 sessions, and then a concrete improvement between that 3 and 12 months, depending on the person and how they go about things.
Everybody's different, that's for sure. Also, depending on what you're dealing with, especially if, let's say, you're working with a family, you might start off with the one member, but I know that it's always got to bleed into the other members, that's for sure. Also, in your business, there might be one area that you may think that that's where you're failing in or what have you, then you find that it really might be somewhere else, or maybe that there are other areas. But again, once you start working on yourself too, you always want to get better, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think that most people do.
Well, because we start feeling better.
Right.
Let's face it. What are we chasing every day? Why did you wear what you wore? Why do you eat what you eat? You're trying to feel better. Well, we haven't been taught how to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I teach people, is how to feel better. Because what we tend to do is make choices that make us feel worse. And so we're stuck on this pattern of feeling worse. And so, because we haven't been taught, there's a certain process to go through, and that's what I teach. He's
got 2 Valley locations. One is in Tempe, the other was in Scottsdale. The website is Coach Kenny Weiss, WEISS.com. His phone number, it's 480-729-3270, and he does free consultations. Find out what's making you stuck, and he can help you. And again, Valley-wide. One of the things that I want to get out before we go today is that I noticed that you close every email message with a "Have a nice day," and it's also on your slogan. Which tell us what your slogan is.
Well, it's "Have a great day every day," because, like I said, I'll say this a lot. Think about the best day of your life and the worst day of your life. Most people can remember the worst day of their life. They don't remember the best day of their life, or if they do, they fumble on it. Well, I teach people how to have a great day every day, because I teach you how to live in that best day of your life, because we haven't been taught how to do that. We're stuck in whatever it was that was the worst day of our life, we're stuck there. And that's why I picked that as a kind of a catch line. You can live that way when you know the tools.
Well, when you know the tools. He says, have a great day every day, and I hope everyone does too. And you can teach people how to do that. And sometimes that's what we need. We need a little bit of help to get us kick-started, I wish
I'd have had it.
Well, so does many people do. And today I think a lot of people more receptive to it than ever before. All those men out there that would never say no. You're a man, and you're a coach, and you're an expert at it, and you've been through it. You've walked through some of their shoes, so you know what it's like. Again, he can work with everyone from anywhere in the valley. He has 2 locations. One is in Tempe. The other was in Scottsdale. It's Coach Kenny Weiss, WEISS.com. You can call him. It's 480-729-3270. He does free consultations, and he wants everyone to have a great day every day.